Hey, I wanted to get on here because I know I discussed about like crime related TV show and movies in my first Hollywood video, but I did want to extend on that a little bit, especially since I just saw the I don't want to call it series finale because we all know that it's a season finale technically. And we're just waiting for most likely Tyreek or a King spinoff somewhere. But either way, within the Power universe, you got The Wire and Sopranos as well. There wasn't really any epileptic representation in those films, which an aspect, I'm glad they didn't use stereotypes in those cases. And I find it interesting because I feel like, to me, as an epileptic, I feel like it's an easy storyline to go through because sometimes you can't afford nothing. You got to choose between food or your medication, and sometimes you do have to sell drugs on the side in order to even keep up with the bills. Now, I'm saying I'm not condoning people to sell drugs or using drugs at that matter, but it just puts in perspective like sometimes people do what they got to do. And I want to talk more about political, if I said that word right, TV show and movies like, The Walking Dead, The Last of Us. Why are we never in those type of movie or TV shows? I feel like we would successfully survive. I mean, most of us would either be at the house or trying to find a pharmaceutical company, knowing that zombies or whatever don't really go to them because there's really no purpose. And who's not going to check out a manufacturing company and get life supply of meds? I mean, I feel like that would be it. I feel like that's something that could be put into play. They just think that we all just fade away and die out. Like, another thing, I know, like, with these family shows, like, have we ever even seen an epileptic family? Like, whether it's a drama or a comedy. Like, I don't think we ever have. And I feel like that would be really interesting to see from whether it's the entire family or one family member that has epilepsy, and we're just seeing that throughout like a typical, like, family, whatever, spend time, have dinner, all that shit, right? And then it would be, so that's why it'd be interesting just to get the perspective, especially if one of the family members is let's say a 16-year-old has epilepsy. Like, if we, film from that perspective, because we really don't talk about what's it like being an epileptic as a teenager. And hopefully, with all this inclusion, everything going on, that we can hopefully at least slowly get into the family dynamic TV show and movies. Like Game of Thrones, I love that show. House of Dragon, I love that show too. And like shows like that, like, medieval, like either epilepsy people are always, possessed by either devil or are witches, or they make them foam out of the mouth weird during a seizure. Which Game of Thrones, you get a slide on that. Only because he was a wag, and that comes differently. It wasn't like no random seizure. So you got lucky with that game. You got lucky as fuck with that. But yeah, it's like, can we do anything else besides these two regarding this not era, but like within this time? Like, I mean, it's cool to be a witch. Like, I would love to play a witch with that perspective, but also like get more characters for epileptics to play besides the assumption that you're a witch or you have to do some crazy seizure on the screen.